Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're opening up a completely different kind of history book. We are getting into The Architect's Playbook, Defining American Greatness. It takes American history's most iconic rebels and game changers and translates their massive legacies into the language of today. So instead of a dry, dusty history lesson, we're going to see exactly how the people who built the country did it by actively defying the norms of their time. It's a high-energy look at the true architects of the nation. Let's get right into it.
Yo fam, America didn't just pop off overnight. I mean, that is literally how our source material opens. It hooks you instantly with this unexpected, modern slang to make a very serious historical point. It establishes right out of the gate that the nation wasn't the sudden, accidental success, right? It didn't just pop off. It was actively built by individuals who fundamentally rejected the status quo of their specific eras.
Okay, let's dive into this crucial definition pulled straight from our text, a game changer. According to the source, these historical figures weren't just showing up and participating in the system. No, they were flipping the script entirely. They were rewriting the playbook. And that means a true rebel, at least in the context of this playbook, is someone who looks at the established rules, decides they're broken or limiting, and just completely rewrites them from scratch to build an entirely new system.
Which brings us to Act 1, Rebels Against the System.
The source tells us to basically hit fast forward through history, connecting four massive system shakers across different eras. We're talking George Washington in Era 1, rolling through Harriet Tubman and Susan B. Anthony, right up to Martin Luther King Jr. in Era 4. Let's break down exactly how the text characterizes each of these iconic rebels.
So, the source kicks things off with George Washington, and it frames him as the OG who set the tone, which is just brilliant, honestly, because it establishes him as the original rebel. Before anyone else could rewrite the playbook, Washington actually had to lay down the very first blueprints by breaking away from an entire empire. And he kept setting that tone by defying the whole concept of kingship. Think about it, voluntarily stepping away from ultimate power after just 2 terms, just to ensure a brand new democratic system could actually survive.
Now, when it comes to Harriet Tubman, the source designates her the real MVP, the most valuable player, and it uses the word hustled to describe her incredible work on the Underground Railroad. This wasn't just bravery, she literally made 13 covert missions back into hostile territory to rescue enslaved people. Hustling freedom implies this immense strategy, relentless drive, and constantly outsmarting an oppressive, incredibly violent system at every single turn. It perfectly captures her absolutely crucial historical role.
So, we have the culmination of our system shakers. You've got Martin Luther King Jr. dropping truth bombs that completely shook the system, and Susan B. Anthony fighting like a boss for women's voting rights. They tore down massive social barriers. But here's the thing, the playbook doesn't stop at social change. It pivots seamlessly over to limit breakers. These are the innovators pushing the absolute physical boundaries of what human beings can actually accomplish. Because the playbook for greatness isn't just social, it's profoundly scientific too.
Moving right along to Act 2, Defying the Physical Limits.
Take the Wright Brothers, for example. The text simply states they literally took flight. Up until that exact moment, human-powered flight was considered an absolute physical impossibility by the established scientific playbook. People thought there was no way, but they completely defied the known laws of aerodynamics and gravity itself. By taking flight, the Wright brothers didn't just invent a cool machine, they completely rewrote the laws of what humans were capable of doing on Earth.
Which naturally leads us to what is arguably the ultimate boundary-breaking achievement. The source describes Neil Armstrong as having flexed with that moonwalk moment. There it is again. We see this super modern language applied to a monumental historical event. Stepping onto the lunar surface wasn't just an incredible scientific triumph. According to this text, it was the ultimate flex. It was a bold, undeniable demonstration of completely defying the physical limits of our home planet.
The source anchors this massive moment with Armstrong's legendary quote, "One small step, one giant leap." The text actually follows this up by saying, "You know the vibe." And honestly, that's exactly what this explainer is highlighting today. It's the shared vibe, or that underlying energy, connecting all these figures. Whether we're talking about Washington, Tubman, or Armstrong, the vibe is an absolute refusal to accept the boundaries and limitations of the present moment.
But the source doesn't just leave these legends stuck in the past. Let's move to and see how this built, because it connects their actions directly to our modern landscape. The text makes it clear that these figures weren't just making moves, they were rewriting the playbook that ultimately shaped the America of today.
So, the crucial point is that America today is straight up shaped by 3 core things, and they are their grind, guts, and glory. Let's break that down. Grind.
That is the relentless hustle of Tubman outsmarting her pursuers, or the Wright brothers tinkering away until they finally conquered the sky. Guts, that's the sheer unwavering bravery of Anthony or Washington standing up to entrenched power. And finally, glory, the lasting monumental impact of MLK's truth bombs or Armstrong's moonwalk. These are absolutely the three essential ingredients of the architect's playbook.
Which leaves us with this final thought. The source lays out exactly how these iconic rebels flipped the script and defined American greatness through their grind, guts, and glory. But remember, history is an ongoing playbook. It doesn't just stop. So look around you. How do the blueprints drawn by these very system shakers and limit breakers continue to shape the exact world you live in right now? Really think about it. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and keep questioning the playbook.